So hello everyone, my name's Jen. I am the Business Support Manager for the British Franchise Association, and I'm working with Steph at Encouraging Women in Franchising to encourage women into franchising. So in today's video, we are looking at the barrier that lots of women face when coming into business for themselves, which is funding. And today in particular, we're going to look at franchise resales. So I'm going to start off with a few introductions. So Steph, over to you.
Hi, as Jen mentioned, I'm Steph and I am Head of Communications at EWIF, which is Encouraging Women into Franchising. And Jen and I have been working quite closely. It's quite exciting. So yeah, and I also work for Coconut Creatives and I work with Paul.
So Paul, over to you.
I thought that was a subtle cue for me to have a say. Yeah, my name's Paul Clegg. I'm the Managing Director at Coconut Creatives, and we love franchising, so we love supporting the sector. We work with EWIF very, very closely, which obviously what Steph does, and obviously the BFA as well.
Perfect, thank you. Colleen.
Hi, I'm Colleen from Oscar Pet Foods. We've been established for about 25 years now, and I work on recruitment, but also on the support side, supporting our franchisees as well.
Lovely, thank you. And last but not least, Jo.
Hi, I'm Jo Stone. I'm the founder and managing director of Puddle Ducks, and we teach children to swim across the UK. We were founded 2001, so a long time ago, and we've got 33 franchisees at the moment in the UK.
Perfect, thank you, Jo. So Paul, we'll start with you then. Can you give us an introduction as to what a franchise resale actually is and what it involves?
Yes, certainly. Franchise resale is a slightly different concept to looking at something afresh. It's purchasing a business that is already operating as a franchise, as a business unit under a franchise agreement. So it's an ongoing business that you'll be looking to buy. Involved in that is not too dissimilar to buying a normal business, not a franchise operation, but you've got two due diligence elements you need to start looking at with this one. The first option I think most people will go and do is to check out the actual franchise brand itself and do your due diligence on the franchise brand as you would as a new franchise operation that you're looking at. But secondly, once you've done that, you've then got to turn to the business operations, because you're buying a going concern in the business world that you need to then do individual corporate business due diligence on that operation that's running the existing franchise. You'll need to get the support of the franchisor as well in the discussion, because if you're looking to buy, they've got to like you as well. So not just the person who you're buying from. There's a dual relationship that you need to get agreed within that sale process. You'll need to determine the type of sale that you are looking to have. Are you just buying an asset or the assets of the business, which could include the franchise agreement, or are you looking to buy the whole business as a whole and buy the shares? There's very different implications on that, and you'll need to get advice in terms of which is the best one for you. And that's why we recommend, obviously, lawyers to support you through that process. Ideally, you would be wanting to look into franchise approved lawyers to support you through the process and give you good ethical advice and guidance in a subject obviously they're very familiar with.
Thank you, that's quite informative. And in terms of the advantages or disadvantages to buying a resale, Jo, what would you say to someone who's thinking about a franchise about the advantages and disadvantages of a resale?
Well, I suppose the big advantage is you've got an established business. So for us, we've got pools, we've got customers and teachers and staff, which, you know, all existing businesses have probably got some kind of existing staff, and it gives you that chance to hit the ground running, and perhaps start running that business sooner rather than later, and perhaps you've got some staff that are already in place that can help the operations and day-to-day of running of the business and gives you a chance to work more on strategy, and I guess if you're following the systems of a successful business, there's more chance that you're going to get those profits sooner rather than later with an established business. I suppose the disadvantages, or not really disadvantages, but if you're buying a brand new territory, you get to choose your own team, whereas you might be handed over a team with a resale. The growth might be more at your pace. You get to do perhaps more things to learning about all the new jobs. But ultimately, if you follow the systems, you're likely to be successful and able to work on getting those profits as quickly as possible.
That's really good. And in terms of for you, Colleen, is there anything that you would add to that, or is there anything that you have seen in Oscars?
I think exactly the same, really, but a resale obviously offers a solid foundation and to maintain and build on. And at any time, obviously, setting up a new business can be quite daunting. And the fact that you've got the presence, you've got the income from day one, you've got the established brand, it kind of gives confidence to the potential incoming franchisee that they've got from day one, they can hit the ground running, exactly the same as what Jo said. And I think that to consider, I would say the most important thing with a resale is you need to draw on the support that's available to you, because you're not starting with a brand new franchise. So it's going to be quite a lot from day one dealing with the existing customer base. So make sure that you use all the support that's available to you as well.
Perfect, thank you. Paul, did you want to add something there? Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to add a couple of things on that. Some great points there. The key one, back to the due diligence element, that is really, really useful as an advantage is you can see what actually has been happening with the performance of that franchise. So if you're starting from scratch, obviously you're starting with an empty territory, you're not sure what's going to happen. With this one, as you go in, you've got the confidence, you can see how well they've done. So that is a big plus in a lot of people to supplement the other areas that people are saying. The disadvantage, I suppose, but it is an investment in your business, and it might cost you more. In fact, I know it will cost you more to purchase a resale than like initial territory. But obviously, you are getting value, profit, and cash coming from day one. So that, again, those are the pros and cons from that element, if you see that as a disadvantage or not. But yeah, brilliant.
Perfect, thank you. And Paul, if we just stay with you, so it might sound really strange to talk to a brand new franchisee about how they're going to leave the brand or how they're going to leave their business right at the start before they've even got running. But why is it important to build that exit strategy for a franchisee at the start of the business?
Every business goes through a life cycle, and franchises are no different in that, in terms of where they are in their life, in terms of coming into the business and when they're looking to exit towards the end. And the more you can prepare for it, the more you are going to be in control, because the number of times I see it where it catches people by surprise and then it's too late to make the changes they need to improve the way that their exit goes. So put a planning in early stages does give you that control, and you can choose the steps best that's going to suit you as you go on that journey, whatever that exit may be. You can start getting in the professional advisors, your accountant, if you're looking at somebody in terms of supporting you through the resales process. There's experts out there that can help you, and if you start early enough back, you can get your finances, you can get the structures, your personal situation all lining up to effectively deliver what you want to achieve at the end. Because if you don't do that, what you probably find is that you don't get as much value as you were hoping to get out of the business, because your business isn't being portrayed in the best light. So the more effort in that journey, you're pairing along those steps, will have a better outcome for you.
Perfect, thank you. So Colleen, when you're supporting your franchisees to build their business plans, their business strategies, is exit planning something that's important for you guys?
Yeah, it's something quite early on when we have a final interview before they've even started the franchise that it's discussed with them. So they've got an indication. It might be that they're looking to retire in 5 years or 10 years time, or they've got a plan in mind that they want a business to build for 5 years and then they want to sell and move on. So from our point of view, it helps us understand what their motivation is for the business, what their earning expectations are, and definitely knowing what the resale process is definitely useful, from day one. So it's not something they're coming into blindly. They know at 5 or 10 or even 15, 20 years what they need to do when they want to sell the franchise, so it doesn't come as a shock to them. And again, we have a really good resale process in place where we actively help our franchisees sell their businesses. For Oscar, again, because we've been established for 25 years, we have got some very well established franchise businesses at different levels. So again, we advise them and guide them depending on the level the business, you know, is currently at as well.
That's really interesting in terms of the, you know, having that end goal in mind. And Jo, how do you advise your franchisees when they're preparing their business for sale, for the resale?
Well, we, like Colleen says, we start right from the beginning, before they even sign the franchise agreement, that selling their business ultimately is a positive thing, and knowing where they're going to is, and what want to get out of it, is really, really important, because at the end of the day you cannot sell a business overnight, and it takes time to prepare for it. The sort of things that you need to be preparing for, and making sure that your business is in order. And there's, you know, if you need to make a decision or do something that you might not, you know, really like doing or want to do, and that it, but know deep down it needs doing, you need to do it, because it's going to come back and bite you at the point that you want to sell, and that might be too late. So keeping on top of your accounts, making sure that everything's filed on time, and showing as much profit as possible. Knowing your numbers, creating prospectuses and things like that. There's a whole raft of things that franchisees need to do, but preparing for it in terms of knowing the numbers, making sure the profits are there, and the business is in the right shape that they would want to buy it at, is probably the key things to be thinking about then.
So it's possible for someone to take on either a new territory or a resale, and then to grow that to a position where they then sell it on for, like, so the investment level is obviously
Absolutely.
big gain.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. We've seen that happen lots and lots of times, and that's what you want to see, isn't it? People to grow the business and make some money out of it, and enjoy doing it at the same time.
Yeah. And that's obviously something that Oscar has seen as well, Queenie, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we quite recently sold 2 really quite large franchises, so it's great to see the outgoing franchisee go away really happy. They've got a good return, you know, they're ready to enjoy the retirement in their cases, and then the new incoming franchisee having that existing loyal customer base, it definitely makes a difference. And it gives them that initial boost when they start the franchise as well. They want to put their own stamp on it, and obviously they've had all the training exactly the same as a new startup franchise. But I think it's just quite nice that they can start building on that and make it, again, you know, step up one more level and make it even more successful than what it is.
I think that's the difference with franchising as well, isn't it? Is that if you were going it alone, and so it wasn't a franchise business and you were buying a business, you wouldn't have that support from someone to help you with that training. You would just be expected to kind of run off and do it on your own. So actually, again, it's kind of, even the resale side, it's showcasing that support that you get from franchising, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think the smooth handover from the existing to the new plays a really important part on that as well. So making sure that the existing franchisee spends time with that new incoming franchisee definitely is worthwhile, you know, ensuring it's built in the plans with the resale as well.
That's been really helpful. Paul, obviously you've been around the franchise industry for a while. Is there anything that you would add to that? Because you've obviously been involved with franchises from a client perspective, but also having worked within the franchise system. So is there anything that you would add in particular?
As always, the best thing is to go get the best advice that you can. There are a lot of places that you can go for advice, lawyers, advisors, resale people, people looking to support people into franchising. But you just got to make sure you go to the ones, which are the ones going to give you the ethical advice that you're going to seek, and the honest, open advice that you're going to need to do. So that's the thing over the time, is there's some great people in our industry supporting women into franchising, and it's rooting those out, going through the BFA, coming through us at EWIF to try and find those people who can help answer those questions that you have, because you will have questions. You're not alone on that, and it's just about getting to speak to the right people, somebody who can fill those blanks in for you and help you make an informed decision. The franchisors across the whole of the industry as well, you'll find it very supportive in terms of them wanting to support you to do that as well. So you will get franchisor support, and then into their networks. There's an amazing amount of information to answer all those questions. So my recommendation is find it and then use it.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us on this discussion. It's been really helpful, really interesting. Hopefully if you're watching then you have gained some insightful information, and as Paul said, you're ready to take that step and find out more information. Please visit the BFA website or the EWIF website, and you'll find links to information to do with funding, to do with finance, to deal with who to speak to next about for that advice, as Paul mentioned. But yeah, hopefully we will be in touch with you when you make contact with us, and we look forward to sharing your journey with you.